everybody. Welcome back to Dad Space, podcast for dads by dads, where you get to talk to great guys around the world who are doing great things in their family and learning how to be a dad in real time. And every story is different, which I really love. And I'm excited to have my guest on today. And we met through Podmatch, which is great. And I'm excited to have him here to chat. We're going to be talking all things dad. So, Mista Yu, which I like that a lot. Mista Yu, welcome to the show. Nice to have you here.
Good to be here, man. Thanks for having me on. This is fun. Already.
All right. Okay, so I know you are originally from one of the best cities in the world. I've been there many times, and I have friends who live in Bushwick, so I'd go visit, and I just thought it was the coolest place ever. I never wanted to come home. People say you leave your heart in San Francisco. I left my soul in New York City. So, but anyways, there you go, man. Tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York, so all those areas were places where I cut my teeth, so to speak. I had family in Bushwick. I have not been to Bushwick since the gentrification process has started. So I don't even know what's going on out there, to be honest with you. But I have been in other parts of my hometown just to kind of see what's going on. Dramatic changes. But yeah, I still got family out there. My heart is definitely back home. I think I have enough common sense to know I can't live there anymore. Just because we're just trying to move on. But yeah, that's my hometown. I still fight vigorously for it. So I feel you on that one, man. I'm from there. I'm living in Charleston, South Carolina now, or in the Charleston, South Carolina area, about 30 minutes away from the city. It's a dramatic change, to say the least. But I'm closer to my daughters by moving down here and just experiencing this life. And I haven't adapted to the whole country thing yet. I've been here since '96, and I just can't get in my buy-in. I just can't do it. So basically a city boy living a somewhat country life, or slower life, if you will. So all good stuff. No complaints, but it's been a fun ride.
I've grown up in the city, but when you go to New York and Brooklyn, Bushwick and all that, that's a different thing, completely. Like when I came back home, back to where I live after being there, it's a lot quieter where I live. But there's energy right down there. I haven't found that anywhere else.
Yeah, it's I don't know how else to describe it. It's a drive, I guess. My best word is it's a drive to do, to make, to create, to succeed. It's like a push. Sometimes it's relentless, and it's like, whew, you get caught in the flow if you don't have your feet firmly planted. Right. You can get swept away, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's definitely it has that kind of vibe, that kind of energy. I totally get that, man. It's not that here. It's totally different. They try to do things in smaller portions, but it's nothing like being. I've been to Atlanta to visit from time to time, and most people from New York move down there. But man, they're trying to do it, but it's like it's still not the same. There's no place like home, no place like New York.
Right. No, it's amazing. Anyway, I have a big spot in my heart for New York. So when I get to meet somebody from there, I'm like, this is so cool. Talk a little bit about your family. Tell me a little bit more, like what makes up your family group, and tell me a little bit about the kids and all that kind of stuff. Let's start there.
Family group.
Come on.
I got family in New York still. I got family that live, well, most of them are from the Virgin Islands or Panama and Cuba. And they moved to the United States and lived in New York the majority of the time. Some moved to Florida and then up to a place in Canada called London, Ontario. I'm sure you're probably familiar with it.
There you go. Yeah.
I got a cousin and two nieces, well, a niece and nephew, excuse me, that are living there right now. I haven't been there yet. My goal is to go to Toronto. I didn't plan to go to London. But Toronto was my long-term plan. I had it for several years now. So we'll see how we can put those two things together. I got family all across the United States. I mean, in Texas, in California, in Utah, I heard, everywhere. But right now we're in the Charleston, South Carolina area. My wife and I have 3 grown daughters who are scattered between here and Columbia, South Carolina, and we got 6 grandchildren. Same 2 are here, and 4 of them are in the Columbia area. And I heard about a great-grandchild we haven't met yet. Right now, he's a rumor. I haven't actually seen them, but I heard
No,
about it.
no proof, no proof yet. Yeah,
No proof,
physical
no proof
proof.
for
Yeah,
life.
that's
I just heard
exciting.
about him. I haven't got a chance to meet him. But honestly, family is kind of the re-emphasis, if you will, because I got so much stuff going on in life, and I know people look at the profile and they laugh, and people who I go on shows, great shows like yours, and they hear about all I'm doing. Like, how am I doing this? I'm like, I don't know, man. Why you
Right.
asking me? I don't know. There's no blueprint for it. I'm just doing it. I want
Yeah.
to live a life of purpose, and all those things are just part of the process. And I got to just make time. We get 24 hours, and I try to use it the best that I can. Sometimes to the point where I only have a few hours left, and that's when I sleep.
Right.
As far as family goes, that's been the emphasis. I spent, honestly, to be transparent today, I was always uh, a mover and a shake, if you will, for lack of a better word. I got that from New York and I brought it down here with me. And I kind of pushed through stuff and just got stuff done and whatever at the expense of sometimes my own needs, sometimes my own health, sometimes my own mental well-being. And I'm learning how to slow down because honestly, my family is, they're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but there's a lot of things that I felt like if I have done something different with how I approach my time and all my ventures and all things I was getting into, or my responsibilities to ministry and church and what have you, if I had approached that differently, my family, no guarantee, my family might be a little bit different than it is right now. So I'm not living in regret, but I'm just reemphasizing family because right now that matters so much more. You don't want to sacrifice that for anything, any goal, any plan and vision and dream to do bigger things. You don't want to sacrifice your family on that altar. So I'm learning how to take care of business and home and not compromise those areas. So if that makes sense.
Yeah. How important is your faith as far as how it relates to how you show up as being a dad?
I can't do it without that. I
Right.
can't do it without my faith. I mean, I think you and I discussed it a time or two offline, but only reason why I'm even doing what I'm doing right now, whatever the level of effectiveness it is that I'm doing it in, only reason why I'm even doing this is because of my faith. I had no background, no offense to my parents or grandparents, but I had no background for what a happy marriage looks like. It looks like to have a household with a active mother and active father in it. I don't know what that's like. The neighborhoods I grew up in Brooklyn, I look at them fondly. I had some of my best times there. I won't lie about it. I was a little kid, so I didn't see all the things that were going on in the world. I was just having fun living, doing me, and trying to embarrass my mom at the same time. That was my other responsibility. Don't embarrass her. But I was just having fun, and I didn't see all of the things that I had or didn't have. I was just having fun. But you know, I didn't see a context for that kind of thing, for a marriage, for a happy relationship, for a strong 20, 30, 40 year. I never saw it. I mean, Bill Cosby and the Cosby Show is my only reference for what a marriage and a happy relationship looks like. I'm like, that was it. That's kind of sad when I recollect that, but that was my reference. So for me to do this, who else do I give the credit to?
Right.
I can't
Yeah.
give Mr. Cosby the credit. I can't give NBC the credit. How am I in a 29-year, in August it'll be 29 years relationship,
Wow.
with my wife, and have these children? I mean, we got issues and things we're working through. That's just life. They're working on their testimony. No big deal.
Yeah.
But how can I have that when I never had anything like that ever in my life? How do you explain that? How am I not either stir crazy or already got off of that ship a long time ago? How is that? How am I still here?
Right.
So I credit my faith for that. I credit who I have faith in that allows me to be able to do this stuff. So I'm just excited about the journey. It hasn't been fun the entire time, but I'm still here. I'm still rocking and rolling. I haven't given up. No, and I'm still emphasizing my faith because I feel like at the end of the day, if I can do that and show my family and my kids that this is how we got to here, from A to Z, through all that fire we went through in life, all those years, we got from A to Z because of God. We went through A to Z because we love each other, and we said, you know what? We're committed to each other no matter what it looks like, sounds like, smells like, and feels like. We're gonna go ahead and go through this together because we love each other. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, faith and love go hand in hand, and that's how we got to this point.
I don't know how people do it without some kind of faith foundation, especially if you don't have a great example to follow when you're growing up. someone that you look up to and you want to parent like they parent. And you're like, I'm going to do what they did because they were great. If you don't have that and you don't have a faith foundation, I don't know how you navigate life as a dad.
I don't know how you can either. I know people who I've seen it from a distance where they, and I won't say people don't have faith because let me make this disclaimer. I believe everybody has some. Every time you sit in a chair, you're operating in faith. You don't know that chair is going to hold you up or not. You might have gained more pounds than you realize.
Yeah.
And that chair might be at its breaking point already. You don't know, but you sit down without even thinking about it. We all got faith. I'm just talking about people who have pushed their aside or haven't had faith in things that, you know, that either required or demanded or deserve their faith in it. But I've seen people who have done that and they've leaned on books. They've leaned on, just being really robotic about it, trying to find little quick fixes and methods and talking to gurus to help them fix stuff in their own house. But I never really seen it work. And the whole manhood being unable or unwilling to connect with other men, that part right there, that plays a part in your success if you have a mindset like those people I'm talking about. Because if you don't connect yourself, you can read all the books in the world, all the self-help and the YouTube videos, and your kids are still not going to know who you are. They'll know you're a dad, but they won't know who you are.
Right.
If they have to be separated from you, they couldn't describe you aside from your first and last name. They won't know anything about you that matters. And that's the kind of relationship that if you're a father of any worth your salt, you want to have that kind of relationship with your kids, where they know you back and front, and there's no confusion about who you are because you've been open and transparent with them. And of course, conversely, doing that with other men, it helps us stay strong and the sense of community and help us kind of build on things that maybe we just thought were deficiencies and we just accepted it.
Right.
Now we can say, you know what? No, I'm not the only one going through this. Other people are too, and even worse than my situation. I ain't that bad. And be grateful that it's not that bad. And be grateful you have what you have. So that's a multi-layered answer. Sorry about that, man. I couldn't help myself. But that's the kind of
hey,
yeah.
I'm in good hands having you here. I'm excited. What about the investment you make within your relationship with your wife as an example to your family? Maybe when growing up, you and I may not have had the best example for us as a parent. How is your relationship with your wife become a foundation for your family to build on? Talk a little bit about
that. It's been the standard, and not because we're doing it so well, but that we're willing to get dirty and still clean up. We're willing to put in the work. One of the things that was a turning point for us, and I hesitate to go into the whole situation because it's a little bit messy, but there was a time early in our relationship, I probably would say in the second or third year. And that's kind of the point where it's kind of the breaking point for most marriages. If you can survive year 5, you might have something going on there worth fighting for. So I think about year 2.5, year 3, we decided, you know what? This household is beginning to split. We're seeing division kind of come in and tear this bad boy apart, and you and I gotta make a decision. Is it you and I in this together like it was on our wedding day, that we vow to each other, or are we choosing sides in this place? Are we choosing whose kids we're gonna listen to and what and where we're gonna capitulate? And the response for both of us was mutual. We were in this together. It started with us, and by God's going to end with us. So that's what we did. And it created more drama because now we had a united front as opposed to kids playing off of us and kind of, doing what kids do sometimes. Go to mommy and she says, no, go to daddy. He says, yes.
Yes.
And kind of, and I don't think kids realize the division that it caused. Some kids do realize that and they work it. But we realized that, you know what, at the end of the day, kids are going to be kids. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to exemplify what they learn from outside sources and whatever, and people in their family, etc. But for us, so this is our house. We serve the Lord here. We have a certain level of values and morality in this house, And if you are not down with that, well, these options. But as long as you're here, these are the bosses. Now the person who's crying, screaming, throwing a tantrum, and writhing on the floor. You're not the boss. No
Right.
matter what you do and how you act. If you decide, you know what, I'm not gonna eat your food in your house no more because I'm mad at you. Well, if you would have gone on a self-proclaimed fast for 30 days, it's up to you. But at the end of the day, we're the bosses. We decide what food we're gonna eat. We decide how long the TV stays on. We decide how long the lights stay on. We decide where you go and where you can't go. We decide your after-school activities for you. We let you decide that. We even decide some of your friendships and who you can hang with outside of school hours. We decide that stuff. So once you got a united front, that was a wrap. All hell did break loose, but we had our shields on. We were ready for it because we knew, you know what? Agreement was going to happen in this house one way or the other. Outside of y'all, outside of the children, my wife and I, we've been the better for it ever since. We set the standard, what we believe a healthy, happy marriage should look like, and not perfection. We got issues and we go through struggles. We learn how to grow with each other and deal with things, idiosyncrasies and character stuff. And we deal with that kind of stuff privately and we work it out. At the end of the day, we love each other and we stand and we fight with each other, for each other. So once the united front happens, change the whole dynamic. And now the kids being older, going through their own relationship issues, can see, you know what? Mom and dad didn't change their mind. They've been doing this thing for almost 30 years and they're still doing it. It ain't pretty, it ain't clean, it's dirty, it's grimy sometimes. We're still doing it.
Yeah. The whole title of being a dad, being somebody's father, it's a title that we're given when our children are born, or we marry into a family and we embrace this new family unit as a dad coming into this space. It's one thing to be given the title of dad. It's another thing to live up to it and earn that title over time. So for you, kind of, who was your kind of guiding light in addition to your faith? Was there somebody else in your world that you kind of looked to and went, I like what they're doing in their family, and I'm going to take pieces of that to help me build my tools as a dad?
Buzzkill in 5, 4, 3. I didn't have anyone.
No, you're on your, really?
I didn't have anyone.
Wow.
I didn't have one soul that would help me do that.
So for
Had an
somebody
uncle, but he didn't
listening
have
in that space, somebody's listening to this right now, and they're exactly, that's their story.
Yeah.
What do you say to them?
I didn't have it, but I was so determined. It wasn't just because of my determination and my own personal strength. I did a lot of things. I fed myself things to help me grow. I read. I was always a voracious reader. That's not really a new concept for me, but I read, I listened, I sat at the feet of people who had experiences. I wouldn't call them mentors because to me, that's a relationship that to some degree is reciprocal. So I wouldn't say that, but I sat at the feet of people who were doing it, people who were living that life that I wanted to have. So, like I said, I wouldn't call it mentor, but they were definitely teachers for me. So I'll give them the credit where it's due. But I didn't have anything like that. I didn't have anybody in my family. I didn't have anybody in our church community that I can look up to and say, you know what, show me how to do this. Most of the time, I didn't like what I saw. And I said, you know what, this is the master vision that I have for this. So I just endeavored to be the change I wanted to see. I went about trying to craft the world. Hopefully that didn't sound too strange, but I went out to craft the world that I envisioned. How a family would look like, what a father is supposed to do, not what the media tells me to do over there. No, not them. But just try to get it from credible sources and learn and grow incrementally. And that's a big word in this situation. It was incremental. It was no big sweeping changes. It was just incremental, growing, getting rid of this so-called mentality that I might have got from New York that doesn't fit where I am and what I'm doing right now. I mean, it's easy. It's not easy to go from the city to the country and then try to bring these city ideals into a country space because everybody can't function with that because they don't understand it. It's not something that's germane to them, so you can't do that. I had to learn how to put down some of my attitudes and the way that I saw life and the way I, again, that New York, that grinding mentality. I had to put a lot of that stuff down. So you know what? people said that they're slow in the country, whatever. I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying that they just respond differently. They function different, and I had to learn how to some degree, adapt. I don't believe I compromised, but I did adapt to what I saw a little bit and kind of, try to, change my language, change the way I talk to people, especially in my own household. Try to, speak to them on a level that they could understand so we can connect and we can move forward together. So I didn't really have those examples. I mean, hate to be Debbie Downer. I didn't have it. So I had to I had to grind and learn and get teaching and insight where I could and try to put it together. It's been a long process. If you want 4 or 5 years to find somebody who can be a mentor, maybe you get a little faster. But for me, I had to play the long game. I had to do the hard work, figure some stuff out, offend some folks, go back and apologize. Say, I'm so sorry.
Right.
I'm trying to figure this thing out. I don't know what I'm doing. Forgive me. Let's move on together. Still love me. I love you. Boom. Let's go. So that's all that happened. I mean, I wish I can glamorize it, make it sound really cool. Oh, man, you should write a book. I'm not gonna write a book about that. I already did. But it's that's what it is, man. I didn't have that, and I felt sorry for myself for a long time. Not to drag on about this, but I felt sorry for a long time. Like, man, how's everybody else have mentors and teachers and people being there for them, and I don't have nothing? And I was having a pity party almost every night. I said, you know what? These party favors are getting old.
Right.
So keep myself in the pants. Best way that I could. So you know what? Just get over yourself, man. People have a hard life and have hard things happen. Guess what? It's not just you. People have harder stuff than you. Yeah. You can overcome this. You can survive this. You can make something out of this. This mountain can be moved, So I began to encourage myself. And like I said, start seeking information and understanding and insights wherever I can find them in books. Especially, I spent a lot of time in books. And I made some good decisions. Some bad ones too, but I made mostly good decisions, I think.
The one thing I wrestle with is how dads are portrayed on movies and television in the media. They're almost like a joke. Like this grumpy old man in the corner in his chair, doesn't talk to his kids, mean to his partner, his wife, just works, drinks beer on the weekends, and really doesn't show up for anybody. And it just seems like sometimes dads are painted that way. And I don't know why we are like a joke. We're like the Homer Simpson or something. It's just this weird, like, where's the respect for dads? And maybe it's partly that we as dads aren't a good example of being a dad, even to ourselves. Like, your thoughts about the media and how it portrays dads. What do you think?
Boy, that's a fantastic question, Dave. Man, I've been simmering in that one for quite a while now.
Good. Go.
So your question,
yeah,
question is very, very timely. I am going to unleash a little bit.
Okay, I'm here. I'm taking notes.
First off, absolutely, that is definitely a media creation. There are fathers that are doing that live that out, but they're not the majority. And I'll fight anybody that says otherwise. They're not the majority. Everybody's not doing that. There's fathers out here that are doing it without any fanfare. And they're doing it. I know I interviewed a gentleman that's a single parent. I mean, he's out here solo. No mom for the children. He's it. He's both of them. You know what I'm saying? And he's out here fighting and grinding. And nobody's, he's not being celebrated. And I've seen that kind of stuff over the years for a long time. I've seen that plenty of times. So those men are out there. They're out here in this country. I felt I have a bit of a mission that I'm starting this month, hopefully. I'm going to start a series of roundtable discussions in the same kind of format like this with men across the country. The list is already starting to grow. We're going to talk about everything germane to men. You name it. If it's a man issue, we're going to talk about it. And if they go with it, it'll be out here in social media, YouTube, etc., for the world to see so that men can know, you know what? Guess what? Don't believe the lies. Don't believe the hype. There are men out here trying to do what you're doing, and they care, and they're fighting, and they're looking for the fanfare. They just want to just do it right. And that little perception of men, it really bothers me a lot. This time of year, it's the roughest for me, the whole Father's Day deal. It's rough for me for a couple of reasons, just because of my relationship with my father. But the other part is how we're treated. I joke about it a little bit, but to my core, I'm not really joking as much. When Mother's Day come around, no offense to the ladies that are watching, I'm sure you do a
Yeah.
great job as a brother. You deserve what you're getting. Uh, there's a whole lot. Even my TV is inundated. I can't even watch a show, an hour program, without seeing probably 7, 8 commercials about Mother's Day and just and all the fanfare. I hear about it. It just shows up in the stores, in the areas where we live locally, all that stuff. When Father's Day comes around, it feel like the air goes out just a little tiny incy weensy bit. You know what I'm saying? Just not as many commercials, unless you're talking about Lowe's and Home Depot, which is basically just pushing bidders go out here and buy a John Deere.
Yeah.
But beside that, that's pretty much it. Dad might get a sun visor, a tie that is so ugly he shouldn't really wear it anywhere, just to be real. You know, the little kids that are making macaroni pictures for their dad, I ain't against that. I did that for my mom. I'm not hating on that part, but let's not get it like it's equal. Let's not pretend it's equitable and we get the same kind of. Okay, I know that we didn't give birth to anybody, but that doesn't mean that we're diminished. We do so much more than that people don't see or talk about. We do so much more in our households. We do so much more to maintain things in the financial realm of our household. We do so much more in helping to raise little boys and little girls to understand what it means to be a man and to have a man in your life and what they should look like. We play a big part. I'm saying we're kings and priests and prophets of our own home. And I tell you what, we don't get treated like that, and that's a lot of people's faults. Everybody needs to assess, why that is for themselves. But man, we got a fight on our hands because nobody's giving us anything. Excuse me. People say, you know what? Oh, men had everything, and men are always doing this, and they always doing it wrong. It's time for the ladies to stand up. I'm not going to get involved with that kind of nonsense. If you don't see the point of the man in your life and what they supposed to or should bring to your life and what they bring to your kids' life, it's a private discussion. They need to have it yourself. Argue with a wall, don't argue with me. I mean, just not. I'm not the wrong person to argue with because I'm like, I see the value of both, not just one of them over the other. So for me, I'm like, we got to fight on our hands, and that's why we're having a roundtable discussions. Hopefully, starting this month, we got to talk about this kind of stuff and come up with some better ideas on how. I mean, we can't. I don't want to celebrate ourselves because that's just kind of weird, but it's a fight. I don't even know the answer to how we solve that you laid out so eloquently about the media perception. I don't know how we fix that.
Yeah.
I don't know how we do that, but I know that we have power and we have influence. And sometimes, maybe even this time, maybe this is the perfect time in our age, in our world, to start using it.
Right.
If you're going to disrespect us, if you're not going to, maybe we shouldn't frequent your establishment. Maybe we shouldn't help you if you won't help us. So, I mean, just one suggestion. But I don't like that. So, like I said, this time it's rough because Father's Day, I mean, you might not get a text. You might not even get an email. There's some fathers that it might get forgotten. Like, oh, yeah, I forgot it was Father's Day.
Yeah.
No matter what they've done. I spoke to men when my first book came out. I heard from so many men, and some of the stories, I can't go into the details, but some of the stories were gut-wrenching. I mean, they were doing all of the work, all the things that, people say that we don't do. They were doing all of that stuff and then some, going above and beyond. And no credit. They were still a step stool for people in their household. But all they would, I'm like, wow. That kind of stuff, it kind of burned me. So
I remember going out with my kids when they were little. And one thing I like to do is I like to just hang out with my kids, give my wife a break. She could have the house to herself. I'll take the kids. We'll go do something. And I remember sitting there with my kids, and somebody we know would walk up to me and go, "Oh, are you watching the kids today?" I'm like, "What do you mean watching my kids? Oh, is your wife working and you're taking care of the kids for the day?" I'm like I'm a babysitter, like I'm hired staff to watch my kids. I'm like, these are my children, right? And I know that if my wife was sitting here, you wouldn't ask her the same question. I know that for a fact, right? Because that's not how that works. And I'm like, in that moment, I kind of push back and I'm like, these are my kids. I'm not watching my kids. I'm being a dad. I'm like, this is what my job is, to be with my kids. It's not a task. It's who I am. And it's just very interesting that the perception is that we're just here to fill in the gaps when our partner's not available. I didn't feel great in that interaction. I don't know.
I don't feel great hearing about the interaction.
Right, exactly.
Not at all.
No.
I'm in the. I want to say this without being hypocritical, because I recognize one point I think I need to make it. As it pertains to being a dad, I'm a little bit of a different dad than some others. The ones that you see depicted, where they're always working on the car in the garage or working on a project, that kind of stuff. I'm not that kind of dad. I'll just be honest about it. I don't know how to work on cars. I don't know how to build a whole house. I don't even know how to build a shed. I don't. I can use tools. I'm skillful enough with tools to get minor things done, hanging pictures and what have you. But I don't know how to do all of that stuff. I am an integral part in the growth of a very, very large, abundant garden in our backyard. And I have a culinary background. I used to be a chef downtown in our area for several years when the culinary school, the whole nine. So I do a lot of cooking in our house. So I'm not, I guess, the average dad. Can I even say that? Does that make sense? The average? I don't know what that even means. But I'm not the prototypical dad, I guess you can say. I don't know. When it's the weekend, I don't go hang out with the boys. Mm-hmm. I'm an introvert. I don't really care that much. The boys want to come over here and watch sports. I'm game for it, but I'm not going to the bar.
Yeah.
I'm not going on my bike on Saturday to go ride with the rest of the gang. I'm not doing those kind of things. So I'm doing things a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still present. I'm still here. And I feel like we need to have a voice for dads like that too. Mm-hmm. That don't fit the mold that certain dads think they should be. If you're not doing this, if you don't work at a sawmill, you ain't a real dad. You're a real man. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not. So right. All these ideas, I don't know where they even come from, but they're very ill-conceived and they don't reflect what's really going on. So I hate that story for you, man, because I'm like, you handle it so well, much better than I would have. And I'm a minister, dude. And I don't think I would have handled it as good as you did.
I was just shocked. I'm like, how?
I'm like,
why am I seen as like some hired person who doesn't want to interact with my kids? Like it's a chore. Like it's I got to do the dishes, get the oil change in the car. Oh, and watch the kids. No, yeah, they're my kids. I want to be with my kids, right?
Our kids need different things from us. They don't just
exactly.
Have you ever seen a child who only had a mother? Now, honestly, I was one of them. There's certain things you notice about the child. There's a certain way that they lean, even emotionally. You can see it. But when they have both, you see, in most cases, a more well-rounded child, a child who, kind of understands, the analytical and the creative and the practical and the emotional. They can understand all of these things.
Yeah.
They're very fortunate, but it's like David's an important part of his kid's life. So
right.
They may survive without him, but they won't thrive without him.
Right. Yeah, the same for the example you said earlier about the single dad, right? He can only do what he can do. He can't do everything, right? So there's parts that he needs help with as well. So it goes both ways.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, you stirred the pot with that one.
I like it. I got a big stir stick. I'm going to keep stirring. The whole reason I started this podcast was when my firstborn was born, we were in the hospital. The doctor was getting everything ready with my wife, and we're going to have a baby soon. And the doctor looked at me and said, listen, things are going to get a little crazy around here. We're here for your wife, and we're all focused on her. This is the main priority. So if you pass out, there's nobody going to catch you, just so you know, right? Just so that you just need to know that. And the one thing that the doctor said to me, I think the doctor was just trying to make things light in the moment because the doctor could tell that this is my first time having a baby as a dad. The doctor looked at me and said, there's nobody here for you. Now, in the moment, it kind of just went over my head. There's nobody here for you. But the next day, when I'm holding my son and my wife is sleeping and resting, and it's just me, all the family's gone back home, and it's just me and the reality that those words really sank in for me. There's nobody here for you. And it was true. I didn't know what I was doing, and I felt so inadequate. Even though I grew up in a home where I had a really good dad, which was my blessing and benefit to have that person, but he wasn't there. He wasn't physically in the room, and I was completely lost in that moment. And all I could hear was a doctor saying, "There's nobody here for you." So what I love about what you're doing with this that open conversation with men is you're proving that there are people here for you in conversation, in support, through books, through podcasts, whatever it is. We can actually now connect with a greater community outside of that room in that moment where we feel totally alone. There's people like you putting out great things in the world to answer that question and be that support. And I think as men, maybe part of the reason why we're made into cartoons and made fun of in the media is because we stopped talking a long time ago about what we need, how we show up in this world, how we can help each other. And all we talk about is sports, weather, work. We never really get to like the actual part of the conversation where dads are leaning in going, I need what you're giving me. I need what you're doing in this conversation as like a round table. I don't get this at home, and I feel alone, and there's nobody here for me. And here you are showing up, and that's your purpose, is to kind of fill in the gaps through what you're doing. So I'm just cheering you on. I just think it's a great idea that you're on this path to help men in what you're doing. So congrats on filling in the gaps. I think it's great.
How we are. I mean, that's kind of the whole point. I mean, when I was talking earlier about being the change I wanted to see when I didn't have certain resources and I was trying to make it work, winging it for the most part, to be real, this is kind of the same. I mean, I didn't have that. My father was almost as far away as you can get from New York City. We're into California, and it's like, I was fighting just to get his acceptance and his validation and his love. And I'm talking to guys who I can tell didn't have that either. I'm like, what am I going to tell them? I had coaching clients that I was trying to, they had issues like that. I'm like, how am I going to coach them? They pay me. What do I say to them?
Right.
I dealt with the same thing. I was able to figure it out and offer some real help and insight. And that's a testament to God. It's not even my own smarts or nothing like that. I give them all the credit for it. But, this is the kind of thing that we're doing with this. And I'd love for you to be a part of those conversations too. So you got to stay up on social media though, because I don't know how to find you. But we'll work on that offline. But those are kind of things that we need to have as many voices in this as possible, because the perspectives, they just range so far. There's so many different things going on. And it's like, we need community. We need each other now. I feel like as a country and as a whole, we're unraveling. And I'm like, we need to get out of the basement, get out of the closet, and say, we need each other now. We need help. We need to support each other, because this is we can't keep going like this. We're dysfunctional and distressed and every other D word. We're just so this is. I'm hoping it's going to be helpful. I'm out here. Yeah. I'm out here on a branch, but it feels like sometimes I'm like, I do this.
So talk a little bit more about the format of what you're trying to do with the kind of roundtable. What are your thoughts early as you're planning? What do you want this to look like? Who do you want to serve? I'm really curious where you're going with this.
I think I always try to think big, even though, some people may advise against that. I always try to think big about this. And to me, once I got the vision, if you will, about the roundtable discussions, what I hope to see happen was that we have a conversation once a month, because I felt like that would be manageable for people's schedules. Have a once a month conversation that we put out, and everybody that's involved cares about it, supports it, promotes it, puts it out where they are, and hopefully at some point they'll be in the conversation with us. Probably going to have maybe 4 to 6 at a time in the box, just to make sure we have enough time to hear everyone out. in the space of a 45 minutes to an hour. And then what I'm hoping happens after that is that people begin to start getting more involved and start spearheading some of the work in regards to, beginning to start doing that in their community and then building outwards. Let this bad boy spread into what I think it needs to be. Cover the areas that we can't reach, because obviously we can't be in every state, but we're available through podcasting, which is a fantastic medium, listening and audio, YouTube, that kind of thing. Get people who care about this, have been in the conversations and who are listening to the conversations, begin to start building the same thing too. Start doing it. If you want to brand it and give it fancy graphics and fancy music, go for it and begin to build it out and do it in your area. Because right now, I'm trying to practice what I preach. Because when I said one time a month, that's for the ones that people who are across the nation, like yourself in other places, who I know I can't see personally right now.
Yeah.
So in forums like this, we're able to do that. We can have 3 to 5 people or 6 up, on screen talking to each other from the comfort of our own homes, our studio, or offices, wherever we are.
Right.
Outside of that, I'm doing something locally. So the same thing I want people to do in their local town, I'm doing it over in mine. So you may get a location set up, a central location, where we can be there once a month doing the same thing. So it's going to be separate from what I'm talking about, but it's still going to be the same mission. And then everybody else that's involved with this, we start doing the same thing. Locally, start having those meetings at least once a month, face-to-face with guys who you can connect with, who you can viably connect with because they're in your area, and begin to start building that out and helping them do the same thing. And this mission it's not impossible, but it's huge. Right. So hope that makes sense. It's all in flux, but that's kind of what I envision right now.
I think as dads, we need community, we need connections, we need to be accountable to be growing and to be a better version of ourselves, and having other people on a journey of also wanting to be better and show up better for the kids and their partner. All of us working towards that same goal in our different communities, different family makeups. Everything's different, but the one thing is that we're on a goal to get better. So I applaud you for doing that and giving a space for that. Mm-hmm. I think anybody could fit into that. The other thing is the whole thing about companionship and having someone in your corner. There's a lot of guys doing this alone, and they feel so alone, so disconnected. And when they start getting in their heads, they could lead to some really drastic things that they might try to do. And we want to turn that tide away so that nobody feels alone in this, right? And creating that community feel and that connection points, I think, is the one thing that will really help a lot of men struggling right now to find somebody that goes beyond, again, sports and weather and stuff like that. But like when we can actually see each other in person or like this and build a really like a relationship with somebody. I think that erases so much loneliness.
And that's what we deal with. Isolation is probably one of man's worst enemies.
Yeah.
Because in that place, in that space, we think everything that we're dealing with is the worst. It's the epitome. It's the height. It's the standard. And it's not. People are dealing with the same or worse. Right outside your door, you're just so isolated you can't even see it. You're so stuck in that dark space, you don't even realize that it's not even the worst thing. It just amplified because of the silence, because of the lack of real world noise that's going on out there. You don't even hear it.
Right.
And as long as the men stay in that space, they can do the things you were talking about a little while ago. And we don't want that.
No.
We don't want that. We're fighting against that for sure.
That's great. How are people going to find this roundtable in the future? Like, where are we sending them as somebody to watch and be a part of it, but also to participate? Do you already have something set up where we can kind of point people in that direction?
What we're going to do is going to filter the discussions through our flagship show, One-on-One with Mista Yu. And that was One-on-One with Mista Yu, but we're going to be doing the roundtables through that, at least for now.
Yeah.
We'll be doing that. I don't have anything beside that. So they call me MrYou.buzzsprout.com. We can get the episodes and kind of chime in. Of course, the YouTube channel, youtube.com @They Call Me Mista Yu. Gives you a chance to see the audio, see our faces and everything. Mm-hmm. and kind of just hear our voices and, just all of the real aspect of it that you can't get through audio only. That's a way also to reach out. If you have access to our socials through the first website, they call me MrU.buzzsprout.com. You can reach out privately. If you have any questions, or you can chime in the comment section on the live chats whenever we're doing the episodes, and kind of just take a listen and see if it resonates with you, and maybe you can talk offline, and maybe I can help you organize something in your neck of the woods where you are. It's not hard. Doesn't take a lot. I mean, if you have the mindset and you're really that open, you can do it from your own home. It's not hard. It's just a matter of, what are you willing to do, and are you willing to take this where it needs to go? Because I can't take it across the country theoretically. The podcast space allows you to do that kind of on its own, but what I'm talking about is a little bit different. I'm talking about the person-to-person interaction, the real connection, the thing that sometimes a lot of men try to avoid. We need to embrace the discomfort. Embrace it. So you know what? We need this.
Yeah.
It's key to our survival. So we need this.
What I love about this whole conversation, we're going to wrap up here, is that not only are you here talking about making a change, giving a platform, you're a great example in this conversation where you and I could have just had some surface conversation, gave a couple points about how to be a good dad and be done. But you didn't do that. You really put it out there and shared your own story. And I think there's going to be somebody listening to this conversation who might resonate with me. There's going to be listening to this conversation that's going to resonate with you. And I can't reach the people you can. And you might not be able to reach the exact same people that I can. But together, through conversation and what you're going to be doing through your roundtable, we can help a lot of men.
I'm excited about it. I'm glad you didn't kick me out of here when I went on those tangents.
Tangents are welcome and encouraged on the show.
That's usually how I look when I talk. Okay, if it's on a platform, I don't care if I'm preaching. It looks almost exactly like that.
Right.
I get a little far away in my eye, and I'm going to some place that was not in the script. Like before you know it, I'm going. So I own that. That's me. It's not perfect, but it is what it is. But I'm grateful for this platform, man, to be here with you, man, and be on the show. Awesome. I mean, it's a fantastic show without me. But I'm just glad to be here to have this chat. I think you share the heart of what we're trying to accomplish. Yeah. I'm excited to have more conversations with you, man. And with anybody who's listening to your show that wants to have those kind of combos, I'm excited about it. I hope they reach out to one or both of us. That'll be amazing.
I like it. Yeah, and I'm really super curious about promoting your roundtable and your plans and being a support for you, whatever I can do up here in Canada from my side of the border. I'd love to be there to help you as well and to participate wherever possible. I'd love to be part of that.
That'd be awesome. Just support the sites and the YouTube channel and the Buzzsprout sites specifically, and support the show one-on-one with Mr. Yu. I mean, we're having conversations with people. I mean, I had like maybe two or three in the past 2 weeks. Topics just like this. This is what we're talking about.
Right.
And those guys are going to be a part of the conversation. They are a part of the conversation. They're going to be a part of the movement, so to speak. So that show is opening the door for me to have those kind of convos, because guess what? I don't care who. I'm talking to former athletes, former baseball players coming up soon. I'm talking to people who are former football players. I'm talking to people who are CEOs and entrepreneurs. You know, any man I talk to, guess what they all have in common? That part.
Mm-hmm.
No matter where they are, large scale, small scale business persons, retired, living out of RVs. I had interviews with all these folks, and guess what they all have in common? That part.
Mm-hmm.
Not different at all. Not unique in that regard.
Yeah.
They all have that same need. Let's deal with it together.
I like it. Everybody, we're going to have links for everything in the show notes. Make sure you go follow, go listen to the podcast as well. Subscribe.
Please do.
So you get all the episodes that come to you. And go back and listen to the older episodes too. There's a lot of great value there. And hear stories from men and learn from our experiences. So glad you had time to do this today. I really appreciate it.
I'm here, man. Thanks for having me on. This was fun. And now I'm like motivated and pumped. I'm like, oh my God, we go find a dragon to slay. I'm pumped right now. Where's my sword?
A warning for any dragons out there. I did. Mr. Yu's on his way for you.
I'm on my way today. I'm hyped. But thank you, man. This was fantastic, man. I know we're going to be meeting again, do some more stuff together and collaborations, man. But thank you for doing this. Thank you for having me on and let me go on a rant about what I think is an important topic. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Everybody, all the information is always in the show notes. Make sure you go check it out. Thank you so much. So thanks for being here. Thank you for listening to Dad Space. I really, really appreciate you being here. If this is your first time or you're coming back and back and back, it's great. Now, I am on a mission to talk to as many dads as I can through the show and connecting with you. You get to hear my voice by pressing play. I want to hear your voice by going to dadspace.ca and leaving me a voice message. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm on a mission to talk to 5 dads every month. 5 dads. 30 minutes maybe, tops, where we get together and just talk about maybe what you're getting out of the podcast, maybe how I can serve you in the content or with guests or topics, and just to hear from you. To hear from you as a listener would be outstanding. So go to dadspace.ca. There is a link right there where you can click on it and you can jump into my SpeakPipe link. It leaves a voice. You can leave a voice message, which comes to me in an email. I can respond to you directly in voicemail, or I can have you maybe even come on the show as a guest. It's completely up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I'm here for you, and I'm so grateful that you're still here listening to this. So go to dadspace.ca and either let's get you on the show or let's you and I sit down with the calendar invite on my website and let's just have a conversation, one dad to another. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being here. Take care.